Good morning, Springfield. How are you? This is Reverend Mickey Mack or Steve McAllister. Reverend Mickey Mack, that's a long story, but I'll have to tell you that later. And we've got it's partly cloudy skies, a little sprinkle of rain. I guess I heard it was going to be in the 90s here in a couple days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a couple days, and we've Springfield, Branson, and the Ozarks. We've got a couple days of summer coming up. Then it goes right back to fall real quick.
Loving the fall weather, though, right
Yeah,
now.
low 70s, but after 85, 90-degree weather, it's going to be back in the low 70s next week.
It's Missouri, you know.
Yeah, but if you're not careful, well, the allergies I think are gone because of all this rain and cold. I think the allergies are going to disappear. At least I hope so. Well, we are so happy to have you guys this morning. It's going to be a beautiful day. Whether it's going to rain, sun shines in our lives, and Gayla, so nice to have you back with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. In fact, Gayla Prewitt is my guest again. It's been about what we talked about 3 or 4 months.
That's what we came up with, yes.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months. And I love when I get return guests that really have a heart for God and have leadership and just want to spread the gospel, whether it's through film, whether it's through Sunday or church, whatever. I just really enjoy that.
Well, thank you very much.
And so for those of you who don't know Gayla, we may have you do just a brief about yourself. I can actually tell you that you married a retired firefighter, or you married a retired firefighter.
Well, he wasn't retired when I married him. Yes, he's retired. He used to work at the Springfield Fire Department, and he retired about 4 years ago. And we live in Bolivar, or outside of Bolivar. We live in the country, and we've got 4 kids. Obviously, some of them are grown kids now, but our daughter, she's married, and we have our oldest son is also married, and beautiful. We have beautiful in-laws. We've been very lucky and very blessed. And then our 2 younger sons, and our youngest son's still going to college. So that's kind of me.
Yeah, and you're also an instructor at Southwestern.
Well, I had been an adjunct instructor for about 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm just kind of concentrating on the films and things like that. So I'm not doing that currently.
Well, I was just going to say, you're a busy lady. You don't have time to instruct.
Oh, well,
you do the
that.
instruction in movies and films and that.
Well, we hope so. But yes, I enjoyed that, though. I really like that age group, the college age group. They're always so optimistic and on fire for the future, and so I really enjoyed the rapport I had with them. But yes, I'm been concentrating on this. I did also which we haven't talked about, just finished a documentary. I went to a health freedom conference, and it was for Christians and Christian doctors talking about some of the issues, and just finished a documentary on that. So yeah, I'll have to share that with you.
Oh, please do. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. And this came out before Glimmer, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
actually I wrote the first draft of that probably at least 10 years ago. And so
we're talking about The Seed Police.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about that today. Glimmer was your screenplay, your current screenplay.
Yes, actually I have 4 screenplays. Seed Police, I wrote that first.
Right.
And then from the screenplay, I made the novel. And Glimmer, I did the same thing. And then I have 2 others that I've written since Glimmer. But
Wow.
yes, I'm working on Glimmer right now. So
I guess I'm gonna have to have you back again.
Okay. I enjoyed it.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I feel sometimes I feel like those late night co-host or those hosts, where they have return guests. So what's been up since the last time I seen you? And their hairs are shorter. So
Right.
it's like, what movie are you in now? Well, I just finished.
Right. Right.
So just like yourself, you've been so busy writing books and putting films together, and in fact, I had a young lady here last week, um, Valerie,
Yes.
and Valerie Bates, and what a great gal! She really knows how to do some serious
She is
acting.
very, very talented, and she was so sweet. We had a she came and was in our, we have a proof of concept trailer for Glimmer because we're in the fundraising mode right now, and so to do, so people can see the quality of work that you're going to have in the film. And she was so sweet, and she did such an amazing job. So if you guys have a chance to check out her work in that, it's on my website. And yeah, she's very, very convincing, and she really makes it come to life.
I see we got good time now. Thank you, Matt. Phew, we were talking about this earlier. I thought, the clock on the wall is gone. There's nothing there. Well, if we could just guess the time, we're going to have so much fun. We'll just keep on going. Won't realize what time it
It'll
is.
be lunchtime.
Well, I hope not. Listen, I'm sure we could talk that long, but we won't.
No, we won't do that to the audience.
No, I think 40 minutes is well. Then we have another show coming up, and anyway, so
Right.
I wouldn't want to do that to them.
No.
Oh, anyway, so uh, the book, The Seed Police. Oh my goodness, I told you what I thought of it. Now,
Right.
I I got to be honest. I didn't finish the rest of it like I thought because I had a lot of issues come up that I think you've already seen in my Facebook.
Right.
So
Right.
I wasn't able to really focus on the book, but I got to the 27th chapter.
Okay.
So I'm good.
All right. Well, good.
I think that's The Good Doctor.
Oh, okay.
The Good
Yes.
Doctor.
Okay.
Tell me about The Good Doctor without kind of revealing it so people can see the.
Well, he's kind of, I guess you might call him, he was sort of a whistleblower because he knew a lot of the things that were going on, and he was trying to help his patients. And so he's basically was dismissed as a quack, and he's gone kind of in hiding. And so he feels kind of like a failure. But some people in the book, the minister and a congressman, have tracked him down, and he's kind of the hope that will kind of bring some of this to the
Yeah, and
end.
then those poor families that are in the bunker or in
Right.
hiding,
Right.
they've got the seeds,
Yes, yes.
and that's why they're called the seed police
Well, now they're called the seed
or seed
savers.
savers. And
Yes.
okay,
The seed police are after them because they have seeds.
yes, the seed police is after the ones that have the seed savers.
Yes.
And believe me, when you read this book, The Good Seed, you'll understand what we're talking about. We don't want to give too much away, but that congressman and of course the family Candace and Cameron,
Right.
I mean,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Pastor Cameron. Yeah.
Pastor Cameron, he's a real go-getter.
Yes, he is. And he's trying to help people. And
Yeah.
he's been trying, even from in his church, he's been trying to spread the word and really stand up for the people.
What's that got to do with? I saw in the book that there was a lot of stuff that was going on, such as what's going on now with COVID. It
Right.
kind of starting to bring that, like,
Right.
man, there's a bunch of people that are trying to save the world by saying you've got to get vaccinated.
Right.
But some people have said, well, it's against my religion, or I don't want to do.
Right.
Well, I can't take the vaccine myself
Right.
because of the CMT disease that I have.
Right.
I was told that it can mess with your DNA and
Right.
just mess me up, and it could. I was told that it could paralyze me,
Oh, wow.
and I don't want to take any chances.
Well, and I wasn't going to bring all that up, but you would really like to watch my documentary. These are nationally known experts, and I feel like God opened the door, and I got to talk with them. One of them is one of them from the frontline doctors, and there's there's a lot of research in my documentary, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pastor Artur Pawlowski, the pastor from Canada. That's
Mm-mm.
well, he's been arrested several times for having church in Canada,
Oh, I did hear about that, but I forgot his name. But yes.
and I got to interview him, and he's at the very
Wow.
end, and it's very inspirational. It's not all doom and gloom because to me he has a call to action, and it's for Christians to we have to stand up for our faith.
Yep, exactly. So, um, that's why some of the reading that I had from this book, that's what kind of brought me to what's going on currently,
Right,
because these are seed savers. Well,
right,
there's seed savers, if you want to call it that, or I don't know what the other terminology would be for today. What's going
right,
on with COVID? There's a
right,
bunch of people anti-vaccine trying to say that this is what's going to happen. So but this is a food situation where the
right,
people are getting sick
right,
from the food that they're eating, and
right.
these seeds are the ones that are going to be the helper.
Well, yeah, in the book, which I thought at the time was I mean, it still is somewhat fantastical, but unfortunately, it's not as that much as it was when I first wrote it. But the farmers, some of the main characters, they're farmers, and they don't believe that they should grow genetically modified food. They think a lot of the health issues that are happening are a result of that. So the government has taken over food production in the book, and as you know, and so you're not allowed anymore to grow food,
Right.
and so they've hidden their food growing operation, and they don't use genetically modified food, and they feel like God has given them the wisdom to do this, and they're trying to help people, and they're growing food and giving food away. So
So
that's
they're
kind of the
seed
premise.
planters.
Yes, and they're after them because they're growing food, and they're not allowed to own any seeds, and they have seeds, so they're criminals basically.
Yep, and that's why they're called fugitives.
Yes, exactly. But they've
Because
risked everything because they feel like God told them to do this.
mm-hmm. So there's so much. Um, let's see. There's so much. Um, I can't think of the word. There's just a lot to the book.
Oh,
There's just
thank
a
you.
lot to the mystery. There's a lot to Cameron and Ted. Oh man, I can't think of his
That's
last.
okay. Ted Harris,
Yeah,
he's the kind of the villain,
yeah.
sort of.
He's
Yeah.
the one that is rough and tough and says, "Come with me." And he doesn't care about the kids even when
No.
he gets. I don't want to give away too much of the
Right.
book, but he's rough and tough, and he doesn't care who's in his way, and the
Right.
way he treats the doctor that was hidden.
Right. Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, you got to have a good villain, right?
Right.
So,
So, does any of these characters actually have anything to do with real life other than Seed Savers kind of remind you of the current situation going on?
um, not so much in this book, I don't think. It's just, I mean, obviously, I do a lot of research because of my background. Used to be a news reporter a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and actually, the book kind of grew out of a health struggle I was having with my children,
Hmm.
and I had kind of started learning about food and some of the effects it can have on children, especially small children with behavior and learning and things like that. And a really good organization that I discovered is called the Feingold Organization, and actually Jane Hersey, the president of that organization, did write the foreword for Seed Police. And so that kind of started me on my journey. And the more research I did, I just found more things that were troubling to me. And so I felt like there were so many good documentaries out there already about this issue. And we all like to watch a good movie or read a good book. And so I thought this would be a little different way of doing it.
Yeah, I tried reading, like I told you, I was trying reading the last couple chapters. So I didn't quite finish the book, but I'm almost there. So you might have to come back so I can finish
No, that'd
asking
be
you questions.
fine. That'd be great.
Oh man, I just appreciate I appreciate men and women who are willing to go out there and write books or put films together for real life situations or see behind the scenes of things, because when people read a book, they're just like, okay, this is made up. It's of course, unless you say it's not fiction or
Right.
fiction. But these books, the last Glimmer and this, is there's real life situations
Right.
in each of these. Like Glimmer was um, about, I forgot, some
About the sanctity of life and
were,
but yeah.
eh, somebody said, and I think I did too. They said that they thought it was something else, but it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was because that she snapped and that she had this psychological situation going on. I think that's what it really is. Correct.
No, not exactly. I mean, you don't know what's going on. You think maybe that's what's happening to her, or maybe her family and friends are doing that to her. But at the end, it's revealed, and that's not what's been going
Right.
on.
I
Yeah.
read the book. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
I read the book and guess what? She wins.
That's right. Well, we all win when we know God. So,
Right. Well, we read the back of the book of the Bible and we know we win.
yes.
But no, that's what was so intriguing about this book and Glimmer is that you get halfway through it and it's like you almost like me. I will tell you, I want to read the back of the book.
Oh,
I want to
no.
read it. No, I want to. It gets so intriguing that you want to read. And I'm like, no, that's no fun. You gotta read the rest of the book. Because I've done that all my life, though. It's like you get into a real good book and you want to read the end. It's like,
Right.
well, then what about the other pages? You don't know
Right.
what happened to get to
To
that
get
point.
there, right? Well, I have to confess, I'm a little bad sometimes about movies that I'm watching that are very high tense movies, and I will ask if my kids have seen it. I'm like, okay, do they live? I can't watch it if they don't live. And I'll make them tell me, oh, they do live, mom.
But we're not going to tell you how they live or why
That's
they
right.
live. Oh, come on, give me a hint. My mom would always do the same thing, and she's like, "Well, what's going to happen?" I'm like, "I guess you'll just have to watch the
Watch it.
rest. Watch the rest with me." Well, I don't have time to watch the rest. Oh, well, hey, just like you always told me, Mom, it'll be a rerun.
That's right. Well, and now we're so fortunate you can go back and do all that.
Yeah, you can
So,
stream, you can rewind. Be kind, rewind. Remember that?
right?
Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about the book Seed, The Seed Police. This is my guest, Gayla Prewitt, and what a genuine lady she is, and she's got a
Thank
lot
you.
of intuition and a lot of things, and but I think that the biggest thing is you got a big heart
Oh,
for
thank
people,
you.
and you're a servant of God,
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's
and,
very
and
kind.
she's come a long way from being a news reporter.
Yes, I wouldn't want, I mean, that what's frustrating to me and why I got into news, to me, it is a public service and
Right.
people need information and they need accurate and unbiased information so they can make wise decisions. And that's been the biggest frustration for me. I just feel like that's changed.
Yeah, she really I guess you could say she's a public witness and she's a witness and she's not afraid to if you ask her about her testimony, she's not afraid to tell you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we're going to have to I'm going to have to come up to Springfield and meet with you again and talk more about your films and when is that documentary coming out?
Actually, the documentary, I just released it on Rumble,
Okay.
and it's called Do No Harm, but it's do KNOW harm, like the medical
Oh,
thing of
okay.
do no harm, but we do need to know harm. And so, yeah, I feel like God opened the door, and hopefully it will help someone and maybe give somebody some information they don't have, and so they can think and make up their own decisions.
Yeah, and that's what's really good about books like that is it makes you stop and think.
Well,
And
good. I'm glad because that was the goal for
yeah,
people. They could dig deeper, they could do their own research, but kind of raise some questions that they could find out about.
because food, we see so much about food being whether it's GMO or whatever, it's becoming they've been finding a lot like what's there's not a disease, but I'm not talking about mad cow, but I'm
Right.
um they find things in arsenic, not arsenic. They find different things in meat, and they've been finding a lot of things. And so when I heard the news on that,
Right.
it brought me back to the seed police.
Right. Well, and it's so pervasive. And I just actually was listening to a gentleman, I don't know if you know about him, Jeffrey Smith, and he's kind of like the GMO guru. And I think I have a link, I know I do, on my website. There's a seedpolice.com website too that I may not have mentioned, but he's always tracking what's going on with genetically modified organisms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone beyond food, obviously. I mean, they genetically modify microorganisms, bacteria, fungus, viruses. And there's a big concern that, I mean, once these things are released, we don't know for sure what they're going to do, and we have no way of retrieving them. So that's a big concern. He has a new push out, I think, that's called Protect Nature Now. And so, yeah, there's genetically modified mosquitoes that they're trying to release. Yeah, there's all
What?
kinds of things
Did
out
you hear
there.
that, folks?
Genetically modified mosquitoes. And I think what they've done, they've bred them that when they go out, and I mean, all these things sound good in theory, but to me, when we're taking God's creation and changing it on the DNA level that He created, in my opinion, we've taken science too far. I mean, God's a scientist, obviously. He made everything.
Right.
And I think when we go out of the perimeters of that, we're be trying to become God.
Right.
And we know that's not a good thing. So yes. And so yeah, I feel like we don't ever really hear much about this. And I think that's maybe by design. We don't hear, all this stuff is still marching on and getting more prolific. And while we're being kind of distracted by so many things at this point, and there's a lot of things to keep track of right now, but I feel like this is something that affects all of us. We all eat food, and and it's not just genetically modified food, but it's the whole process. When they spray the plants, then we ingest the plants, and still that, it's called glyphosate. And I think there's some new things out there, but it was originally patented as an antibiotic. So you're eating stuff that's killing off all your good microbiome. And we're starting to hear more about that, about how, your gut health is so determinant of all the rest of your health. So it basically kind of is destroying your gut health at the same time. A long time ago, I got to do some interviews with Jeffrey Smith, and that's also, and some other local scientists and microbiologists, soil microbiologists, and they talk about some of these things. And I have short clips there on my YouTube, Seed Police YouTube channel as well, if people want to check that out.
So does that have anything to do? Well, that has a lot to do with your news reporting background, correct?
Well, yes.
Is that what your major news thing was as a reporter, that you went and did this?
Actually, when I was a news reporter, I really favored happy feature stories. I love just meeting people and showing people things like that. But this kind of hit home, and I just felt like God wanted me to help people have some information about it.
Man, I'm telling you, folks, you've got to really. I'll tell you, it's a book that you can't really put down. Unfortunately, I had to put it down a few times, but it's one of those books, folks, that and you can actually read it in a day or two, because
Right.
it's a short novel. It's how many pages? About 150,
140, yeah, around
140, 140. You could probably read it in a day.
Well, and I think probably I don't really consider myself a novelist. I'm more of a journalist, broadcast, and a screenwriter. And so it's probably more condensed because of that.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're I think a pretty quick read. That's what people tell me anyway.
Yeah, and most people nowadays. Oh, but I was going to ask you, is this going to be on audio at all?
I need to do that with Glimmer and Sea Police. I just haven't gotten to that point, but I really need to do that because I know I like audiobooks, and it just makes it nice because you can drive and listen to a book. But it's not yet. But that's kind of hopefully soon.
Right.
And it's supposed to be a film. That's the goal, is
Right.
it's to be a film. So, but yes, I would like to make
Yeah,
it an audiobook.
because books nowadays are either I've seen books. Wow, that's an audiobook now,
Right.
and
Almost
so
everything is.
And just like films, you don't have to like the old days where you had to wait 6 years to see a film that didn't make a lot of money, but you had to wait 6 years to
Right.
see it. Now you wait maybe 2 weeks.
Right.
Even on the red, the video, what do you call them? Video boxes that are out
Right.
there.
Red box, I
Right.
think. Yes.
You have to, you have to almost look at that. Wow, that's out already.
Right. Well, and some of them now they're doing both. They're like having a live stream, which you pay a little extra, but then they also have a film release. So yeah, it's kind of more instant, and then you can watch it several times.
Yeah, just like I've read the book. I want to read Glimmer again.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you.
But the young lady I was telling you about that's in the trailer, Valerie, she's
Yes.
um, I guess she's been. I think she was born to be these different characters, and that's what she said. She said
Right.
I was asked to do this trailer, and then I was asked to do Vincent's Vow, and you could tell that she has a real heart for film and her characters. She said that some of the films that she's done relate to her, like the film
Right.
that she's working on.
Right. She wrote that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate you guys coming on and telling us your stories and well, we're going to definitely have Gayla back on again. And if you want to hear more about Gayla, I'm sure that Matt will have things down there, or you can go ahead and tell us again because it's in a recording,
Sure.
so people will be able to watch it again, get your
Okay.
information.
I have a website. It's gaylaprewitt.com, and it may have be on the banner. I'm not sure, and Prewitt is spelled Prewitt. And on my website, I have a link to Seed Police as well. Seed Police has its own website too, but you can link from that from Gayla Prewitt. But seedpolice.com is the website also.
Is there going to be sequel?
Actually, I've written a sequel to Seed Police. It's not in a novel, but it's in a
Oh,
screenplay, and that's the next short novel I plan on putting together. Actually, that's been weighing on my heart lately. I'm like, I think it's
wait,
called Verified, and it's Will You Comply is the tagline on
you could use somebody.
it. That's right. If they ever get to film, we'll be talking.
Oh, because I want to play the good doctor.
You'd be excellent at that.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. I mean, all these characters have their own character traits and they have their own way of handling things, but it's just really neat how um, the congressman and the doc and the pastor they come together and form like the dynamic duo and
Right. Right.
and they're so hard. Their heart is for these people. You know, um, and then there's a couple that their own Garden of Eden.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to even talk about that because I want people to experience their own Garden of Eden.
Okay. Well, and you asked me if there's something personal, and I think somewhat when you speak out about things that other people might think that are either lack of a better thing, a conspiracy theory or whatever, but you know it to be true, that can be hard. But when God tells you, or you feel like God has told you to share this information, you have to do it. And so maybe I relate a little bit to the farmers because not that I've risked everything because I haven't, but they basically risk everything to help people. And because they feel like God has helped them, they have seen the truth and they want other people to be able to have that information as well.
And there's a real chapter 24.
What?
That's a tearjerker chapter, with the 5-year-old little girl.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
And
Poor
I'm a
thing.
mom, obviously.
And I
So,
bet you that, how did that react when you wrote that with you being a mom? And,
well, I've had some scary things with my kids. And so that's probably where some of that comes from. I didn't really talk about it. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but when my oldest son and my next my next oldest son. I don't know how to say that.
The middle
The
child. Oh,
middle, the middle. Well, he's
I
the
was,
middle boy, but
I
I
was going
have
to say, did I
four.
say
So
that?
no, you're fine. My oldest son, and he was 3, and the other son was a year and a half, and then we also had a baby, another baby boy by this time. They were just sick all the time, and so I had a friend. I thought, well, it's allergies, and had a friend that told me about an environmental specialist who was an MD in Kansas City. So we took them to this doctor, and one of the things he did routinely was to run a heavy metal scan. We live in the country and we try to eat pretty healthy, and I'm like, sure, whatever. And well, the results came back and they were devastating to me. I mean, these are my babies. And my oldest son, they were off the charts for arsenic and things like
I do
that.
remember you telling me about
Yes.
that.
And so, and there's even a link. KY3 actually did a story on that several years after, but there's a link also on the Sea Police website about that background if you want to read it. But, and our other son wasn't much better. And so, I mean, that's pretty scary to find out that with your little babies. And so, but God put people in our path to help us, and they're healthy now. But it was a long journey. And so, yeah, that's probably how I relate some to that, because you don't know what's going to happen, you know?
She just came, she had something wrong with her at school, and then she had this red mark on her knee.
Right.
But that was connected to the others that had problems with them. They had rashes, and they had, so that's when they say, oh, this is coming back. And that's why they try to find that doctor.
Yes, exactly. Because
The hidden doctor.
Pastor Cameron knows her. She's in his congregation, and actually, there's a name of a disease in there that is actually a real phenomenon that people claim they have, and it does have some of those symptoms, and it has had some from some research linked to genetically modified food and organisms. So I do research, but I do take it. Obviously, it is fiction,
right?
But I do, research and base things on that. I think most writers probably do that.
Yeah, they do. They take a lot of research and they take a lot of time doing that, because if they're going to write a book like that, they want to make sure that they're right.
Exactly.
Because then all of a sudden they're challenged, and well, this person in this book said this.
Right.
Well, that's wrong. And then you have a debate, and then
then the message of the book is lost. So,
right. So that's why I could tell you did some research.
Well, thank you.
Because I researched the research.
Oh, well, that's good. Check me out. I want to make sure.
Anyway, I think that's one of the chapters here that struck me was chapter 24, and illness hits home. Is the poor mom.
Right.
They were so scared, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And of course, we know what happened.
Right.
But like I said, you have to read the book. I'm just so glad that there's a hope out there, that we have hope in Jesus, and that it doesn't matter about these food diseases. It doesn't matter what's going on. We just know that if we know Him, we know where we're going. Whether we die from this disease, whether it's the vaccine that's currently going on. I mean, not the vaccine, but COVID. Because there's so many people that are still passing away, but now they're using the flu as like, well, it's not the flu, it's COVID. Well, it's the flu. And so just like the seed police, there's seed police out there.
Yes.
Or seed savers, but there's the government's the seed police.
Well, and actually there was a term for a very large company, which I won't mention, that's actually what the farmers called them, because farmers, if they contract to grow genetically modified seeds, or even if there's drift and it gets on their cropland, I'm sure everybody's heard that by now, but they will come and check their field, and they can be in a lot of trouble even if they didn't do it. And they said, well, you're using our technology and you didn't purchase it, and they're a big company that has a lot of lawyers behind them, so they can be very intimidating. So that's another thing. Farmers used to save seeds when they would grow them. You would save them for year to year to year. Well, when you have genetically modified, even if they've grown the crop, harvested the seed, they're not allowed to save those and reuse them. They are forced to buy new seeds every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, so this is so true. This book, even though it's written with nonfiction characters or fictional
They're
characters,
fictional. Everybody's fictional.
everybody's fictional, but these people, there's people like this that are in real life that are dealing with something like this. So, well, again, Gayla, what a pleasure it's been to have you with us today. And we've got a great show coming up. I think we've got It's Your Call with John Penny and Dwayne DeLong. Almost forgot the last name, but anyway, and then we've got Changing Times with Don Blackard, and I'm having a brain fog here, folks. So Lynn Morse. So you want to check those programs out here today, and I can't wait to have you back,
Oh,
Gayla.
thank you very much. I've
Um,
enjoyed it. Thank
uh,
you.
man, we got to get together off screen
Yes, that would be great
and
too.
meet your retired fireman husband.
That would
No,
be
I would love to
amazing.
meet your family.
Well, thank you. I would like to meet yours as well. So,
Okay, great. Well, Rachel, she's hard at work right now. But anyway, thank you folks for joining us. And again, say the Seed Police is out there. You can go to seedpolice.com and
yes,
find more information out rather than me trying to give you a list of things. You can find all that information
yes.
and be looking for a glimmer here pretty soon. I hope.
I hope.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're
We
still fundraising, and
yes.
God can do things,
Yes, he
great
can.
things.
Yes, he can.
So God loves you. I love you, and but we are going to take off. And God bless you for the day, and we'll see you later. Take care.